we welcome you to the Family Hour. Thank you so much for choosing Church of Uganda Family TV. Thank you so much for watching News at 8. And now here we are with the Family Hour, empowering you one episode at a time. This is a Wednesday, and Wednesday is Family Finance and Wealth. So this is a very special edition that you do not need to miss, especially here on Church of Uganda Family TV. Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name. I believe by the fact that you can hear this voice and the fact that you can see our faces, perhaps God has kept you alive, and we can't take that for granted. We are grateful that you are still alive and watching Church of Uganda Family TV. Now today on Family Finances and Wealth, we are looking at something very, very important, and that is prioritizing short-term and long-term goals. Now, as a human being, these two are very, very important, but what do you need to know about prioritizing them, about their priority? That is what we are going to answer in this particular episode of the Family Hour. But just remind you, Family Hour runs every Monday to Friday. Monday we talk about education and career. Tuesday we talk about family health. Wednesday is always finances and wealth. Thursday, leadership and governance. And Friday is always parenting. So this is a fully packed program that you do not have to miss. Now today we are delighted to have one of us, and he's not new here. He's part of us, the one, Rev Jasper Tumuhimbise. Now Rev Jasper Tumuhimbise is the group CEO of Church Commissioners Holdings Company. When we talk about Church Commissioners Holding Company, this is the investment arm of the church that and under this company we have Church House that hosts us on the 13th floor, but we also have Church of Uganda Family TV. We have Namirembe Guest House together with Nabugabo Holiday Center. Then we have Centenary Publishers and Uganda Bookshop. Of course, these are just a few of what a Church Commissioners holds. And if I've not mentioned about anything, just know it is the investment arm of the church. So there is a lot. But we know now that we're talking about the one who heads at the electorate that is in charge of investment. So when we talk about prioritizing short-term and long-term goals, then we are talking to the right person. Reverend, we are grateful to have you even this evening.
Thank you so much. And greetings, listeners and viewers. As usual, I'm excited to be here. And again, actually, on addition to what he has said, soon you will see some products, Church Commission Holdings Company Limited products.
Okay.
The sanitary pads for our children,
okay,
then toilet papers, then sanitizers, then soap, because we are now going to do an industrial hub, so that you know when we launch it, we slightly bring lower, especially these access to these things that are used by our children. But I'm excited to be here once again, and thank you all who attended. Last week, 13th of this month was our media day, and so many churches talking about Family TV. In my church, we talked about it. My church, I mean, I'm the chaplain at Ebenezer Chapel in Eliana, that's in Tinda. And we talked about it. We prayed for this TV. And I can again assure you, the sky is the limit. God being our helper.
Amen.
I'm glad to be here once again.
We are also glad to have you once again. And I'm personally excited about this program and this particular topic. And now you sparked it off with what you talked about as the products.
Yes.
And this is also as a result of either short or term or long or short term goals. And this is already causing a lot of warmth in the discussion. But we start from from the bottom line of it all, what is the difference between short-term and long-term goals?
Okay, yeah. So they actually like three aspects.
Okay.
There is short, medium term, and long term. And all of those, of course, are interrelated. But the biggest difference is the time factor.
Okay.
The time factor. That short term normally is between 0 to 3 years, medium term 3 to 6 years, and then 6 years plus, 7 years plus is really long term. And again, like we said last week, many people, many young couples plan for short term, the wedding. So you spend 30 million at the wedding day, and the next day you have nowhere to stay, and the landlord chases you. Meaning, you did a short-term goal, but planned it as if it is a very long-term goal. So the first thing is the time factor. The second thing is the resource envelope. That for short-term goals, please use little, so that you save for long-term. When you are, going to school, for example, you can't spend all the money for all the years you'll go to school at once. No. You must save, knowing that I'll go to nursery. For me, I never went to nursery. I'll go to P1, then pay one by one. But long-term means I am saving through these schemes, so that when I reach university, I'm not struggling. And that's the difference really between long-term. That short-term is a short period of time, but long-term means long period of time, but more resources. More resources means more finances, but that you are able to know that when I reach this mile, I'm able to get this resource from this. If, for example, if one is going to Guru, so the long-term vision is reaching Guru.
Yes.
But short-term, you must reach Luwero first. Actually, you must go through the jam of Kawempe.
Exactly.
So that's short-term. And the long-term vision, therefore, listen to this. The long-term vision or goal will determine what you do in the short term. So those of us who said we are marrying for 40 years, what we did in the first year will determine whether we continue or not. But today again, somebody is, I just got a man. And then you wed. After wedding, you spend every resource. Why? Because you are not planning for 20 years. Others will say, I want to enjoy life. So no children. Of course, I normally laugh at them. Because whether you think you are enjoying or not, children are a gift from God, and they are a factor of family. And so we want to enjoy. Why? Because they are looking at what we call short-term gains. Now, marriage, in terms of finances, has 3 dimensions. Number 1 is many people marry for pleasure. Pleasure is short-term. And I'm not saying that when you are married, physical aspects of intimacy can't be long-term. But normally, pleasure is short-term. Others is partnership. And partnership is long-term. That I'm marrying somebody for better, for worse, in riches and poverty. So you'll hang out with that person, and that's long term. The third reason is procreation. Procreation can be both short and long term, because you might look for a child and you don't get them. So you get them after, like Sarah. She was 90. And so that becomes a long term. But then when you get a child in the short term, you look after that child until the long term. So I began paying school fees about 20 years ago. Up to today I'm paying. So that's a long term. Education, short term, yes. There are children. But then because I need to sustain payment, then it becomes a long term goal. So a goal is what you focus on, what you target. I mean, the quick result area that I must do in order for me to achieve a certain product.
Okay. Now, talking about short-term and long-term goals, is there any possibility that I can start with my short-term goal, and this short-term goal can be a milestone for a long-term goal, or they all work parallel.
Yes, because you see, as we gave an example of going to Guru, you can't say you are going to Kawempe, but then the long term you are going to Guru. No, Guru comes and Kawempe becomes a consequence of Guru. Let me repeat. The long-term goal will have what we call consequences. Things that will come because you have focused so far. So I focused so far that I will stay my wife, no divorce, no separation. That's my long-term goal. And because of that, therefore, things that will detract me, we call them detours and roadblocks. I will fight them because I'm focusing in the long-term goal. The challenge for people is what you have actually asked. That, let's marry and we sort out ourselves in a marriage. No. When I'm actually counseling couples, I make them sit, and each one of them will write 3 priorities. Long-term priorities. And then
No short-term.
Not short-term. Because short-term, anybody can achieve a short-term goal. So like the premiership, this league has begun. You can't be saying that I want not to win the long-term goal is I must win. But because I must win, every match counts. And therefore the matches become landmarks. The short-term goals and medium-term become landmarks towards the long-term. But again, the challenge today, let's marry. How many children do you want? Things will sort themselves out. Have you planned where we live after you have wedded in the church? No. I think God knows it. And by the way, let me say this. The Bible says, Proverbs 16:9, man plans, God determines the next step. So planning is for money. This business that it is God's will. No. He gave you a mind to plan. All you need to do is to the grace of God to pass through what you have planned. But God does not plan for people. And I know somebody will quote Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. Yeah, those are God's plans. They are not your plans. It is God's plans for his children. But not your plans. So like now I plan to come here.
Yes.
And by the way, I planned some time back, some 4 hours ago. And I knew the topic. I knew when I would come. I knew where I would pass. And mine is to pray to God to help me pass through that.
But I wanted to have your plan.
I wanted to walk up to here, but because of the time element, I used the lift. So, in other words, the long-term plan should determine what you do now. If a young girl, a young boy, your life today will determine what you will become in the future. Full stop. And there is no other way. So your short term, why you must read, why you must save, why you must invest, is so that in the long term, you are not a beggar.
Sure.
Yes.
So now out of this discussion, I'm realizing that now more emphasis should be put on the long-term goals. Yes. Why is it important to have these long-term goals as you move on with life?
Yes. One, it gives a sense of purpose. Purpose, the reason of being. Purpose is why you are in what you are doing and how you are doing it. And people with purpose, therefore, again, I'm moving to Guru. The purpose is to do 1, 2, 3. So whatever you will do along the way will be so that I fulfill my purpose. Secondly, in terms of goals, is the people around you. All godly goals are people-oriented, what we call the common good. Common good means, yes, I know my purpose, but I shouldn't be driving at 120 kilometers per hour. Why? Because I might bring an accident to another person. Or I shouldn't step on people so that I reach Guru. No. I should be able to know that many people are using this road. And my part of my work is to know that people around me, one can be a driver, another one can be the one who will, whom I'm moving with, but there are people around us. So people with long-term goals will respect people. Short-term, it is, all I want is this, I want it now, and it is me,
after achieving
myself, and I. After achieving, I even don't care how many people I have killed. But long-term, you respect people because you will meet them again. And you will meet similar people. And some of those become building what? Building blocks. Then number 3, God created personalities. Personalities. That yes, I have a purpose, there are people around me, but long-term goals define also your personality. The personality. That I will not react this way because my target is this. So, okay, let me now say this, and it is really bluntly. Nobody enjoys the exams. Let me repeat. There is nobody who likes exams. Okay, if you like exams, call me after, then we discuss. But the purpose
you might not get a call.
The purpose of why we do exams is that long-term personality trait that I want to pass. I want excellence. And because I want to pass, then I will strive to read. I will strive to write my coursework in time. Why? The personality wants to excel. Now, hopeless people are short term. I have eaten. That's the end. I have drunk. That's the end. I go forget drugs. They call it high. You become high when you are lower. Then others will simply say, oh, I have gotten this 1 million. Until when they finish it. Short-term personalities, they won't settle. So if you find them real and settled, know that some pockets have about 100,000. And they finish it. Waiting to do what? To get other means of survival. So short-term people have personalities which are like driven by what we call instincts. Now, there are 3 instincts. Sexual instincts, hunger, and anger. In other words, if they are hungry, whatever they meet, they will eat. Short-term. Or the big problem is my stomach. Like this man called Esau in the Bible. He comes home, he's hungry. And somebody had cooked beans of all lentil, of all products of food. Then he tells him, Jacob tells him, by the way, sell me a birthright before I give you a bowl of beans. He said, what has that got to do with me? Take it.
As
he
long as
sold
you
it
give me this.
for a bowl of beans. Short-term people personalities sell their birthright at a very cheap price. Very, very cheap. And after selling, he cried for it. The Bible says he couldn't get it. Why? Because he took life as if it is 1 meal. And by the way, many people feel, I am about to die. Yet, surely. So I'm telling you, even when you are hungry, you won't die. Even when you are angry, the way you respond, I was telling people the other day, when you are angry, the way you respond determines your personality. Full stop. So I don't have to respond as if I'm an animal. No. And that's why somebody can put a finger in my eye and I say, hey, sorry, you never meant it. But if you did it when I was at Butobere, you know my story. Because my personality was defining those short-term gains. And therefore, anger drove me. Hunger would drive me. But today, no. I will control them. And so from personality, we have what they call self-control. That because I know I am going to Guru, there are certain things I will not do because I know my destination. So if I'm driving, therefore I want to drink. I'm not talking about drinking water. I hope people understand that this is not about water and soda. No. Don't drink and drive. Because I'm going to Guru, self-control will mean I need to rest. To rest, I mean sleep. Self-control also means when the traffic person stops me, I will stop. And again, nobody will like a traffic person stopping them. But that self-control is driving you towards achieving a certain goal. So married people, finances especially, if you know you are focusing in the future to buy a plot, begin building slowly. Your self-control will now talk about the behavior pattern will be that, no, let's eat beans a bit. No, let's not go out a bit. And I will come to it.
Yes.
Vacations are very good. But there are certain things you'll stop doing simply because you are focusing on a long-term goal. When children are going back to school, you know, buses are normally empty. The reason is because people are paying what? Long-term gains compared to these short-term gains.
Of course, someone sacrifices the short term for the long term.
You sacrifice the short term over the long term, and that's what we call self-control. And it really drives us. And for example, if you want to buy a vehicle, you begin saving slowly by slowly. Sometimes you walk. And these days it is good. When you are walking, they say reverend is cutting weight. When things are bad, you get it. And that's still okay. Why? Because you have a target.
Yeah.
I have a target to buy a shirt, to buy what. So you begin saving slowly.
And the people you're afraid of talking about, you don't even know your target.
They even do, they are short-term goal people. That's why they talk about people. In fact, you have brought to me a clear short-term people talk about others. They don't talk about themselves.
They are critiquing
because
all the time.
A long-term person has no time whatsoever, even to discuss others. They discuss issues, not personalities. And so if you are a short-term person who talk about, hey, the Church of Uganda has this, concentrate on your misery.
What do you have?
And by the way, they have a lot of misery. But they go, hey, you are as poor as a church rat. Have you met rats in church? And if the church is poor, what are rats doing? Because you see, rats will visit somebody with what? With something to eat. But you see, that's the focus now. Others. Become a long-term visionary. Don't even discuss other people's marriages. Relax. Go for you. And by the way, you means you. Don't even go for your partner. I have so many people. Hey, I would have developed my husband, my wife. I normally tell them, okay, what is your contribution in all of this? First of all, save. And then some partner will know that saving is okay. But many people will point fingers and forget that the three are pointing back to what?
To you.
To you.
Okay.
Yes.
This is so interesting, especially in you talked about people with long time goals having no time for things that do not add on them. And I think this is now a gauge line for even someone watching us. So if you ever have time, you open up your shop and you have time to sit and discuss the neighbor who comes late and all that, then that is already a gauge mark.
By the time we will finish, because how are you seeing that neighbor? I thought you are busy.
Like pay attention to them.
Like my reach office normally 7:38, maximum 8:30. I have no time to even see the one coming at 9. Why? Because I'm already busy. So if you are already busy in your shop, continue. If your neighbor comes late, that's your neighbor, and they have their own explanations.
Yes.
And you know we have different backgrounds to the extent that some people, like work is a misery. Friday is the best day. Friday evening. Why? Because Saturday we are not going to work. But some of us, Monday is our best day. Why? Because I'm going to work. And so don't even bother about somebody's background. And some of them have already made money. And they are coming late because they planned for it. But you are now judging yourself on a standard that is not yours. And again, many of us are talking about others simply because we have short-term what? The short-term is that thing, feeling that I'm better than the other one. But surely, does that take you even to heaven? No. Does that give you a mirror? No. It is a feeling. Yet, a long term we will say, no, I'm planning like this. By the way, in chapter 11 of Genesis, if you have, you can write. Chapter 11 of Genesis. God comes down and he finds people building. And he makes a statement like this. If these people plan anything, they'll be able to achieve it.
Yeah.
And for me, of course, the Tower of Babel, many people look at it from the negative side. The positive side is that God is saying planning is good. And joint planning is good. Therefore, how do I make long-term goals? Number one, involve people. Involve everybody in the family.
Reverend, before even we get to that, how we make our long-term goals, there is, before we go for a break, there is this feeling where someone looks at someone, maybe who has constructed a house,
Yes.
and they now start maybe saving or working hard towards building a house perhaps better than this one or at the same level with this one. Is that a goal?
No. It is even not ambition.
What is it then?
Jealous and envy, wickedness. Now, what we need to do, because again, like our family,
Yes.
there was a house we built, then later we had what they call our dream house. We dreamt it in about 2006. And we put down what our dream house would be, without looking at any neighbor's house. Why? Because the neighbor has their own dream. And I'm not supposed to implement other people's dreams. So we said our dream house should be like this, like this, like this. 2010, when God opened doors, we began building that house. So currently we are in our dream house. Now, if a neighbor looks at that house and wants that plan, that's a short-term person with envy and jealousy. And I don't care what type of money they have. Those ones will never be satisfied.
Okay.
Why? Because they are pursuing another person's dream.
Not individual
Yet
dreams.
God has put in us faculties for dreaming ourselves.
Okay.
That I should dream myself. Even in jobs, don't pursue being a CEO. Whatever you have around you, do it as if you are doing it unto the Lord. And in due time, you'll climb. Not CEO, but maybe you become a
So
president.
people who are always saying, one day I'll also be a CEO and you'll see me.
So we call it the sin of being like.
Let us take a short commercial break
Yes.
from there. When we come back, we shall return. Don't go anywhere.
Yes.
Are you the one person with a sin of being like, all you are clean and all your focus is on producing what is in you and not what others have already produced? Building your own dream, not building on other people's dreams. Welcome back from the break. This is the Family Hour. Today is a Wednesday and we are discussing family finances and wealth. Now, today we are looking at prioritizing short-term and long-term goals. And our emphasis now is on the long-term goals because from what Reverend Jasper has shared with us, all we need are long-term goals and not short-term goals. Because, Reverend, I think it is even wrong to call them goals. The short term. It is
not a goal. Okay.
It is not a goal.
Of course, there is no other thing to call it. We can call it a target. I have targeted it to get money to do this, and you get it and eat it and sleep. But we are on the scenes of being like.
Yes.
When you read, and this is different from ambition. I can have ambition to have something, like wisdom, like that of Solomon. That's okay. It is ambition. But the sin of being like, in the Garden of Eden, when the devil comes to Eve, he says, if you eat this, you will be as wise as God. The sin of being like. It will open your eyes and you will be as wise as God. But then quickly, Israel in 1 Samuel chapter 8, the only thing they asked is, give us a king so that we are like other nations. And by the way, that was the biggest sin. Why? Because they had a theocracy where God is their king, and they wanted a king.
Because they want to be
if
like
they
other
hadn't
nations.
said like, that's okay. We want a king. But it's like other nations. Yet they were defeating those nations. Now you have this man Samson. Delilah comes to him and he says, if you tie me, I will be like any other man. Meaning, he knew that he was different. And then Lucifer in Isaiah 14 says, I will ascend and be like God, the Most High. So what we are saying, it is okay to desire again for excellence, to say, I want a better house, but let that be your dream. So that you don't die chasing what we call shadows. Why? Because you will never be like Jasper. You will never be like. And by the way, before I even leave this point, I also desired to preach like John Hagee, like Myers Monroe, and I strived until when really it was a revelation, preach like Jasper. And so even now I'm talking like Jasper. But we have pastors, you visit America once, hey, praise God. In what and what? Guy,
I want to tell you.
I want to tell you that you begin changing what? You begin changing your language. It is the sin of wanting to be like, and you'll never be satisfied. Yet, if you come back, speak your Ruchi English, you know it. Praise the Lord. He was brought to me the road. People will still get saved.
True.
Why? Because God actually would want you to be you, so that you pursue your dream, and He will be able to satisfy the desires of your heart, not somebody's heart. And the people, therefore, who pursue other people, they die poor. Yes, they have everything they seem to have,
but their hearts are not
their
satisfied.
hearts are never satisfied. Because again,
even on their deathbed, they might remember something they've missed
that
out.
the coffin like the other one. I mean, you're even desiring a coffin. So, because
I want my funeral to be like the other
like
person's
so and so, the tomb to be like, and all that is because your heart can't settle. And I can assure you, now this is to those who want to be like, there will be a better vehicle than yours. There will be a better computer at any one time than yours. There will be a better house than yours. So, the Bible says, be contented. And contentment with righteousness, Paul says, is great gain. And that's wrong term, by the way. That when Jasper was contented in a small house, God was able to give him money for a big house because you appreciate God. But when you are not contented with the small, even the big will never be what?
Contented. Reverend, how do we build long-term goals?
Okay, there are aspects of building a long-term goal. Number one, get everyone on board. Get everybody on board. And that's a tough one because if you have children, if you have people who are in your household, you must involve everybody. And as a family, of course, these days we fault a bit, but as a family, we used to have 2 meetings every end of holiday. The first week and the last week towards what? And what are we doing? Meetings to plan. You can imagine. And the chairperson would be a young child. Or me, or whoever, if we would rotate. And I can assure you, that's where we would say, this vehicle, no. One time, our plans were, I think, defeated because we have a home with a small compound, but we had a banana plantation. So we have 4 children, biological, and in these meetings, involvement is only for biological. So we met and they said we turned the banana plantation into a football pitch. And they defeated us using democracy. 4 against 2, me and mommy. So that's when I reminded them that this involvement is not because you own. It is because we want you to contribute to the long-term goal. So banana plantation will remain simply because that's long-term. Football is short-term, and you are going back to school. So we'll be using that beach other than, getting somebody to cut it every other time. So involvement. But involve people in accordance with their layer of authority. In other words, if you're a father, remain a father. If you're a mother, remain a mother. If you are a child or a relative, please know your what? Your levels of involvement. Number 2, make smart goals. Smart. S, the first one is specific. In other words, you say, we want to go for vacation after 2 years. In action follows. Be so specific that when you hit that goal, you can be able to know. And when you miss it, but if you are not specific, if you shoot anything, you'll hit something. And so please be specific. What is that goal? If it is spirituality, I want spiritual development. What do you mean by spirituality? Reading the Bible, how many chapters every day? I read 3 to 4 chapters every day so that I finish the Bible. So that you are specific. And when I miss it, I will know. Like today I have read 3 chapters. I'm missing the 4th one. So I read the 4th before I sleep. Why? Because I have a specific goal. The second one is measurable. Measurable means by 80%, I'm going to Guru. When I reach Kona Kamudin, I have traveled this by, and it is clear, and the time is clear, and the specific landmarks is clear. Number 3, achievable. Now, they are dreamers. I had a young man, he told me, he had actually no job, but he told me that for him, he won't marry until when he marries an Israelite. From Israel. He said, yes, that's my dream, and God has shown me.
Did this person have any connections from Israel?
No. And I had to tell him, look here, I also have faith, but please go for achievable what? Achievable dreams, achievable goals. And the challenge today is we have pastors who lie people. Hey, pray for a visa, but where are you going? And what are you going to do? You get it. And I'm not negating the role of prayer. I'm only saying, let's be sensible on what we pray for. Because God wants rationality. People who reason. That yes, you don't go to work and you expect to eat. I can assure you the Bible is clear.
You're praying for a visa, you've never even applied for a passport.
You even have no national ID. Now, you want a visa. Pray for the national ID. By the way, that's achievable. And we can connect you and get your national ID. You can't pray that you want to drive a bus when you have never ridden even a border. And you see, again, faith. They say faith. But if somebody entered the bus and sat on the driver's seat and said, I have never driven a bus, but by faith, let's all go. Would you remain?
No.
So we are not dealing with faith, but we are dealing with things that God gave us that are achievable. Achievable. Number 4, because we are dealing with smart.
Yes.
Relevant. A goal must be relevant. That if I want to develop my family, I might ask for God to provide for basics. Food, shelter, clothing, basics. Things that are relevant to the what? To the family. But there's also those of us who dream to buy a smartphone. I hear there is Mark what? Okay. I no longer know. But something, iPhone, Galaxy, something.
iPhone 14,
yes.
Galaxy S10.
Yet it is not relevant in that family. Again, with all due respect, those who buy. It is not relevant for the family. We are 6, our minimum number of in the family. So I can't plan to buy a border. No. It is not relevant for the family to go to church, to go for vacation. No. Then finally, time bound. In other words, to say that we would want to do this by this. And smart goals will be very, very clear for everybody, so that you even know the one who is contributing. Number 3, write it down. Now, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 to 3 says, there is a vision. Make it plain. Write it down. And in our family meetings, we normally have what? A minute recorder. So that before we meet again, we are reviewing what? The other minutes. Hey,
Previous minutes.
Daddy, we said that we shall go for vacation. In this, we never went. That goal was not achieved, but it still stands as a goal because it was written down. The challenge today, especially in Africa, we fear writing.
Yeah.
People fear writing. But a long-term goal, you need to put it down and move towards it. Then, second, last, be supportive. The support structure. What stakeholders do I need in order to achieve this goal? For example, we had a family vacation last year. We normally plan for family vacations. And so we had to save for us to go to Maxon follows. And apparently, all of us must go. Or no vacation. I mean, it is not this group, then next year another group. That's not a family vacation, sure. So all of us had to go, and we had planned. And we got a vehicle which we cannot fit in. But it was interesting because of the supporting structure. We never spent any money in that park. Why? Because when I reached, there was somebody who said that I wedded their family, their daughter, and therefore I deserve to sleep, eat, drink for free, really. And so the whole family vacation was free.
So what happens to the other money that you had set aside?
We ate part of it when we were coming back and then paid the school fees, the balance.
Okay.
But the thing is, please make friends. Make a support system. Even now, if you know that you have a friend who normally sticks closer than a brother, please ensure that that friend remains a what? A friend. Why? Because you may need somebody to support your goal or your vision, especially long-term one. You can't do it alone. Then finally, celebrate success. When you reach that goal, celebrate it. I normally keep turkeys. There is a time when I celebrate by cutting one and eating it and putting legs down properly. The challenge today, we have many people who don't celebrate what God has given them. Why? Because they still think they deserve more. And that's greed. But you need a level to say, I built a house. Let me sleep properly in it. I have this chicken. Let me sit together as a family, eat. Again, I told you, even in a turkey last Sunday, I normally say it's lost life so that we are happy. Celebrate success. If one of your children has made a company, celebrate it so that you do not miss the human mind of success. Again, there are so many people. They seem to be successful, but they are not. Why? Because they don't celebrate. They are ever pursuing what? Pursuing money. Sunday for them is letting me go to do work. For me, Sunday, I go to church and rest. There is a time when we shall all say, all of us stop what we are doing. Let's celebrate success. And in the Bible, especially for Israel, there were 3 times in a year where God would say, please all sit down and just enjoy what you have you have harvested, the tithes. So I want to encourage you as a family. You might not be celebrating anything. And for it is strife after strife. The reason is you haven't picked those small pieces to say, since God has given us this harvest, let's move out and do what? Celebrate. And then God will be able to now open up. But otherwise, this business of striving, it can't be godly. So when you achieve a goal, graduate, okay. Go somewhere and say, you people, we have achieved this. That's why I like people who celebrate years, who celebrate birthdays, because it is a reminder that we have achieved another goal. There is another hallmark.
Sure. Reverend, this was very, very, very important. But are there any, on the road of challenge of goals, long-term goals, are there any challenges that can kill the goals, or what someone could rather call enemies to the long-term goals?
Okay, the trials are so many. The biggest one is you.
Yeah.
The one setting the goal. So the biggest challenge is me setting.
How can I be an enemy to my own goals?
Yeah, because you think you can't achieve it now. And I'm not talking about what we call positive thinking, but I'm talking about a Jasper who was in P1 once and entered the P7, and we used to use something you can't know. We call it a cylinder. You get firewood, and that would be our torch to go and check where to sleep. But my ambition was to be an engineer. You get it? And I used to read Mugendawara, during the day. That was the biggest book those days. And I would read. Why? Because I never want me to be a roadblock of my goal. So the biggest roadblock, first of all, is you and your mindset. That I have set it, but the other one died before I achieved it. You begin lamentations. You become like Jeremiah. The other one, our family can't, what and what. I met a young girl in Ichitara, and I said it some time back. I met her and she told me that, Reverend, our clan, the whole clan, I'm the only one who has finished senior 2. And so I want a job. I have dropped out. I said, what? Others is the P3, P4. Me? Yeah. The goal?
They celebrate her.
I said, no. We are not going to end in senior 2. I want a degree. She laughed. Mindset. So the first enemy is mindset. But as I talk now, senior 6.
Okay.
And I'm praying for her to pass. And this year, 13th May was a Saturday, the father and the mother wedded in the church. Because how can they have a daughter going beyond senior 4? So what we are talking about is mindset. Secondly, they are what they call detours along the way. Detours are also potholes. That as I move, that vehicle has bumps. And so beware of those detours. And sometimes the detour attracts you towards the short end. So they are called detours that take you to a short gains. That I don't have to go to Guru because I have gotten what I wanted in Nakasongora. Those are short-term detours. And normally they are available. But focus again on Guru. So then number 3 are friends. Who will tell you that, and sometimes it can be your family member, that okay, we know this is achievable, but okay, go alone. And then after the power of agreement dies, if you're husband and wife, listen to this, Matthew 18:18-21. If 2 of you agree on anything, then Amos 3:3 says, can 2 walk together without agreeing? Meaning, please agree. Let these goals be churned through so that agreement becomes a facilitator. Otherwise, disagreement will totally derail you. Even if you are reaching alone. But yet, we are dealing with family finance. So you are alone. So you can't celebrate because others are still in Nakasongora, another one Nkona Kambudin, you are in Guru. And so then the other enemy is not living within your means. not living within your means. Families, many families do not live within their means. If it is rent, they want to rent in Kororo, yet they can only afford Namungona, where you used to stay. Others want to drive a Hummer, yet they can't even afford a border. So they sacrifice the long-term goal on the altar of short-term gains, which they can't afford. And you find them striving. I mean strive. If you don't buy me this, then. If you don't stay here, then. And our culture today is like that. We have many young people, they put more ifs than then even. And when you buy this, they want the other one. When you buy a TV, 42 inches is not good, 60. And the truth is that even the 60, they don't watch it. Even the 42, they don't, because they are busy outside. So the issue of people who want short-term things on the altar of what. Then finally, is the vehicle you are in. The vehicle you are in. That's the environment that drives you towards that end. Sometimes, especially today, the environment to live as a husband and wife faithfully is tough. Not to steal. Because people will tell you, if you don't steal, you can't be rich. Can I tell you, I'm very rich and we haven't stolen. Full stop. The Elijah syndrome. That, the whole environment is charged. That for you to be rich, you must steal. That's the environment we're operating in. And so you have a young man saying, Reverend, really want a job, but I will ensure within 1 year I have built a house. Okay. Why? Because it is the environment, the vehicle that you are using to move towards a certain vision. But again, please remain focused, because the end result depends on you and God.
Reverend, in less than a minute, what are your parting shots on this subject?
Yeah, thank you so much once again for tuning in, people. My advice again is, please make those goals, make them smart, and pray through those goals together with your family. And I can assure you, the God whom I serve will listen to those prayers. The biggest challenge is lack of agreement. Again, somebody will say, okay, I am avoiding, I want to keep peace. You get it? That's not agreement. No. Agreement means we are all going to Guru and we are all using this type of vehicle, and let's ask God to help us reach. Because grace is His, but planning is ours. So may God help you as you plan and prioritize your family vision and your family goals as a long-term principle. Again, not short-term. I haven't addressed short-term because short-term gains are never gains. God bless you.
And bless you too, Reverend. Thank you so much. We are indeed grateful. And out of this discussion, I believe your mindset has somehow been enriched. And now, between now and the rest of the days, you can now choose which direction to take. I can't thank you enough, but thank you so much for choosing to watch Family Hour on Church of Uganda Family TV. Now, tomorrow is Thursday. We have leadership and governance. Now, don't miss a discussion with the Deputy IGG, that is Dr. Patricia Achan Okiria, together with Mrs. Diana Angwech, who is the Chancellor of the Diocese of Kampala. But for now, I've worked with Brinko on camera, Didmas in transmission, Nancy on social media, and now on camera as well, Jonan, the producer, and very many other people who are putting each and everything together to see that you have this image in the comfort of your home. Good night. We meet again tomorrow.
Good.